Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. Let's see where this video takes us. So, I wrote down on the top of my note card here, what's holding you back? And I figured I'd do a video through the lens of what's holding me back as a way to have a conversation with you, the audience. And this also honestly combines with a few of the other conversations I've had with close friends of mine and content creators who have just recently came in contact with. And so I'm trying on this channel to start documenting and talking about the process of content creation and what I'm learning and just growing up and the whole experience of life. Because I watch a lot of those videos, I find those videos interesting, and sometimes just documenting as opposed to creating or inventing something new is one of the best ways you can produce and engage and grow as a community. And so I'm trying to figure that out. So this video is talking about what is holding you back. Or, in some ways, what is holding me back. And I'll tell you what, I wrote that note on the top of this note card here. And then I spent probably 45 minutes sitting, drinking a Coke, propping my phone up against a adorable little rubber duck there, and watching YouTube videos for way too long while my brain was twisting and circling and, in some ways, preparing me for this video, right? That whole intro I've thought about probably 7 or 8 times over the last 30 minutes, but in a lot of ways also holding me back from doing exactly what I want this video to do, which is encourage you to start. I wrote on the back of the note card here, I want to see you win. Because if you win, I win as well. We all do, right? I want to see you do as good as you can. Whatever it is, whether it is a career and you're focused on your family, whether it is a hobby, a project, game design, content creation, I want you to challenge me to do better than we are, right? I want you to help build this community and this space, or whatever community and space you're a part of. I want you to win games. I want you to win at your friend group. I just want you to win. And so this video and the series of videos I'm working on coming down the road at some point is built around that idea, that concept. Figuring out how I can encourage you and help you figure out how to win and how to win more. My phone just popped on there, alerting me of a message that I haven't gotten back to yet. So, with that introduction set aside, stop, we're flipping it over. Okay, with that introduction set aside, let's start diving into this. I have 3 main points I want to cover. I want to cover starting, I want to cover perfection, and then I wanted to cover determining the price you have to pay. So, what's holding you back? What's holding me back? First off, it's going to be the concept of getting started. This is something that I experience perpetually. I have such a hard time to just sit down and record, to do a video like this. I mean, like I said, I sat for 30 or 40 minutes just swirling it in my brain. I have 3 or 4 other note cards that are set off to the side. I had games on the table here, things that I wanted to talk about, videos that I wanted to do that I just didn't feel like I'd prepped enough for. I didn't feel equipped to do them, even though I probably would make a half-decent video if I sat down and tried. But I have a really hard time getting started. You'll see in a few months when we finally cross that 20,000 mark, I have a video I'm going to be releasing on this channel that is probably, almost 10 years old now. Back when I was in college, back when I was a brand new videographer, watching people like Zay Frank and thinking to myself, I'd like to start. It was on beginnings. And I did start a little bit. I made 2 or 3 videos in that line or that series, but I never continued. And I didn't understand at that time that the most important thing isn't how good or how perfect or how correct the media you're creating is, or the project you're working on, or whatever it is. The most important thing is doing it. Starting and then returning to it. Start now. Like after this video. Like when you get off of work, like the moment you have a second of free time, start. Stop dwelling on it here in your mind. Write something down on a note card. Sit for 10 or 15 minutes and then begin. If you're designing a game, start prototyping, testing, write down your notes, do a thought bubble or an experiment. Build out the world and lore. If you want to be a writer, start reading, start exploring, start sketching what you want your characters to be like, the world they're exploring in. Go on a walk to get something out of your brain. But start. Start now, start early. Because the finish line is going to be just as far away whenever you do start. That's one of the things I've learned. One of the things I'm trying to teach myself. That the only way I get closer to my goal is by doing. It's not by thinking or dwelling or planning and preparing. It's by actually doing. So, that's going to dip into the other thing that is holding me back a lot right now. And that is perfection and production quality. When I first built this channel, it was around the idea of doing the best quality board game content possible. I saw in the industry that there was a kind of gaping hole when it came to high production quality, especially with some of the top-line content creators. And from my side of things, because I had a career in freelance and video production and a studio with camera equipment and audio gear, and I was half competent with all of it, I thought I could help fill that hole. I thought there was a space for me to exist in here. And it seems like, or it at least turns out that there has been, or there was. And so, now that is holding me back. That idea of the highest production quality possible, well, that scales and grows with the channel. The better we do on a single video, the better I now expect myself to do on the next one, the more I expect to learn and grow, and it has become very hard for me in some ways to do videos like this, where I hit the record button, I sit down, and I talk, and I think that's a problem. It's becoming very hard for me to put out a gameplay video that doesn't have all of the fine-tuned touches and details and zoom-ins on cards. And while I know I appreciate those too, and I would like to do them as much as possible, I think at this point it is starting to hold me back. Because in this world of content creation and media, being consistent and producing more content, or producing good quality content more consistently, it's absolutely invaluable. And so, that's something I'm working on. And that bridges to a larger idea. You won't be perfect. At all. In fact, your first ideas will probably be really bad. Genuinely. I mean, go back and watch the videos that I made when I first started Quackalope, and that was after spending 7 years learning how to be a videographer. There's a lot I had to pick up on, and the stuff I'm learning right now should be bad by the time I'm 3 or 4 more years down the road. Because we're not going anywhere, and we're going to continue making content, and as we do that, hopefully the content we make will get better and better and better. Well, that's true in whatever it is you're struggling with. The reason you need to start now and start early is because, first off, there's 100,000 other people that want to do what you're trying to do. Now, that could be intimidating. You could think to yourself, I just don't fit in, I just won't be good enough, they already have years ahead of me, they're more skilled, talented, handsome, whatever it is. You could use those as excuses for not starting. But here's the reality. The difference between you and the other 100,000 people that have your dream is that you'll do it. You'll start now, and you'll start early. And why does that matter? It's because perfection doesn't matter that much. It matters. Getting better, improving, working on lowering the barriers to entry, making sure your audio is clean enough, your video is nice enough, that people are engaged and want to spend time with you, awesome. But at a certain point, it just doesn't matter that much. You won't be perfect. Those 100,000 people that want to do your dream, they won't be perfect either. And because of that, they won't start. Maybe 5 of them will. So now you're competing with 5 people. And 3 of them will give up because they're not satisfied, and 2 of you will find a spot in whatever it is you're pursuing. The barrier to entry is incredibly low. Honestly, and now my phone's ringing. The barrier to entry is incredibly low. Honestly, it just takes you beginning. So, perfection doesn't matter. Perfection will come with doing, it'll come with time, and the first stuff you make should be bad. Because you don't want to be the best you can be. You're currently not. I mean, what a horrible thing to ascribe to yourself. The idea that you are the best that you can be right now. I mean, right now I am disorganized and struggling with getting started. My hair is an absolute catastrophe. My beard is only half grown in. I could do a lot when it comes to my diet and the things I'm drinking and eating. I could spend more time outdoors. I could be in a healthy relationship and starting a family. There's a lot of stuff that I could be, that I hope I become. And so the idea of producing something and having it be perfect, be the best, I mean, in some ways that's a horrific idea because you don't have room to grow. You don't have anywhere else to go. Start with your worst. Begin with the best you can do now with the expectation that the act of doing will in fact be the thing that not only gets you there, but improves you along the way. Get you closer and closer to perfection. When I grew up, I always heard people talking about like Michelangelo and the painters and the writers and the authors that say their work is never finished. But at a certain point, they have to say it is. And it never really stuck with me until recently, right? Because the project's never done. A year from now, you'll look back on it and think, I could have done that better. If I spent more time, had more experience, had more help or hands along the way. And so, start. And don't worry about it being perfect. Celebrate the fact that it isn't. And then the last thing. What are you pursuing? Here's the most important part of this. Because if you're listening to this and you've made it to this part, you want to start. And you're okay with the fact that the thing you start with won't be perfect. But what is it that you're actually pursuing? So here's what we did. Here's what I've done. When I was doing research on pursuing a dream and building something for myself, I was watching quite a few YouTube videos and I heard the line, you should determine the price, and then all you have to do is pay it. And so that's what we've done here on this channel. We looked 5 years down the road, said, if I spend 5 years working and producing the best quality content I can in the board game space, at the end of that journey we'll be somewhere really cool. And right now, I'm somewhere really cool, but we're only 2 years in, so I still have a 3-year window in front of me that I am pursuing. Whatever happens right now, in the in-between, that's okay, because the window has been 5 years out. And at the end of 5 years, we'll be somewhere really cool. So, determine the price. What's it going to cost for you to be an author, a painter, a game designer, a developer, for you to be the best you can be at your job, at your family, at your relationship? Where are your weak spots? What are you missing? Where can you develop? What is the price you have to pay? Is it reading a series of books? Is it designing 20 games that never get published? Is it producing a video every single day for the next year? Is it making 100 phone calls to 100 different organizations and businesses, 99 of which will tell you no, but one that might tell you yes? Is it spending a little bit more time with your family or your friends, making sure to call them on a weekly schedule to check in and see how they're doing? What is it you want? What is it you're missing? And what is the price for you to have it? Because once you've identified that, all you have to do then is pay it. It's a lot easier to pay a price or a bill that you're aware of. So, that's this video. I plan on doing more in this style. Let me know if you like it, and let me know what other things you'd be interested in hearing me talk about. I know right now the 2 videos that we're working on is going to be my studio setup for all of you who have appreciated a behind-the-scenes look at the production that we do here. And then I'm also going to be working on and practicing producing a video on getting a game group together. In fact, I'm doing a video for our Patreon community at the moment to let them have a voice in that conversation. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Hopefully, you're enjoying these videos, despite the fact that they're very weird for me to do. Whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Get started. Do it now. Do it early. Pay that price. See you next time.